Hi, my name is Elisa Scow, and my ecology project is on the lemurs. Lemurs, scientifically known as Lemurdia, are endangered primates that belong to the class Mammalia. They're part of the early branch of the primates called prosimens, which evolved before monkeys and apes. Lemurs are only found on the island of Madagascar and a few nearby Comoro Islands, making them truly unique to that region. These small animals have faces that may look like a mouse or a fox, with wet noses that gives them a strong sense of smell, and hands and feet that are perfect for climbing. Their fur comes in many different colors, such as white, gray, brown, black, or even like a brown reddish. Some lemurs are active during the day, living in social groups, while others come out at night to avoid predators. With their distinct looks and behaviors, lemurs are one of the most fascinating species in the animal kingdom. At the individual level, behavioral ecology looks at how the animal's actions help it survive and live in its environment. And lemurs are a great example of this. Lemurs are active during the day. They're called diurnal lemurs, usually live in groups called troops. They work together and use sounds to warn each other about other predators, which helps keep everyone safe. Lemurs come out at night. They're known as nocturnal lemurs. They tend to live alone and use darkness to hide from danger. Some lemurs, like the eyes, have a special way of finding food, such as using a long, skinny finger to tap on trees and pull out bugs that are hiding inside. These different behaviors show how lemurs have learned to survive and live successfully in the Madagascar unique environment. Population ecology focuses on how individuals of the same species interact within their environment and how these interactions influence their population size, growth, and distribution. In the Antrima protected area of Madagascar, researchers studied how different lemur species, including the crowned civica, respond to changes in their habitats. The study found that the lemur population sizes were closely linked to the amount of available food, forest cover, and competition within and between species. When resources were abundant and habitats were stable, the lemur populations were higher, but in areas affected by logging or habitat loss, obviously their numbers started to decline. These patterns show how environmental pressure and resource competition play a key role in shaping the lemur population dynamics and long-term survival in the Atrima. Community ecology examines the populations of different species living in the same area and how they interact with one another. These interactions, such as competition and predation, shape the structure of the entire community. Studies have shown that the lemur populations, the structure of their communities, is similarly influenced by interactions between species and the environment they share. Larger lemurs, such as the savicas, tend to live in a bigger, undisturbed forest where there are tall trees and abundant vegetation, while the more adaptable species, like the brown lemurs, can survive in smaller or partially cleared areas. These species often compete for the same resources, such as fruit and leaves, especially during the dry seasons when food is limited. At the same time, the smaller species, like the mouse lemurs, must deal with the constant threat of predators, including the fossa, snakes, and birds, which all influence their behavior and where they choose to live. These patterns of competition, predation, and habitat use work together to determine how each species fits into the ecosystem, shaping the overall structure and balance of the lemur community as a whole. Ecosystem ecology focuses on how organisms within a community interact with one another and the physical factors of that environment. Researchers have found that in many parts of the Madagascar, environmental changes have deeply affected the lemur populations and the ecosystems they inhabit. As the forests are cleared for farming, logging, or other human uses, the natural habitat that lemurs depend on becomes smaller and more fragmented. This loss of forest cover limits access to food, shelter, and safe routes for movement between groups. Larger lemurs that rely on the tall trees and continuous canopy are often the first to decline, while the smaller, more adaptable species struggle to survive as well in the remaining patches. These changes also alter how the species interact. Some may face more competition for limited resources, while others become easier targets for predators. Altogether, habitat loss and human disturbance weaken the balance of the ecosystem, which reduces biodiversity and changes the structure of the lemur's communities that once thrived. In conclusion, lemurs play an important role in the Madagascar's environment, showing how animals, plants, and people are all connected. Sadly, many lemur species are endangered because of the deforestation, hunting, and the loss of their natural habitat. Conservation efforts such as protecting forests, replanting trees, and working with local communities are helping to save these animals. Groups like the Madagascar Biodiversity Partnership and the Lemur Conservation Foundation are leading projects to restore habitats and teach people how to live in ways that protect the wildlife. Now, from a Christian point of view, taking care of the lemurs and their environment show a good stewardship of God's creation. The Bible teaches that humans have a responsibility to care for the earth and all the living things, not to harm or destroy them. Protecting lemurs is not just about saving a species, but it's also about honoring God by caring for the world and he created of the world he created and ensuring that it thrives for future generations. And then this is just all the references that I use. So yeah, thank you.